Hello everyone, this is, as you can tell, a digital piano review of the Roland FP-30. So, before I go any further, I'm just going to explain my musical background because I believe that's important for you to know the context of just my experience with the instrument, because I feel like if I don't mention that, then this review is going to make a lot less sense. So, I am a musician. I love playing music, but that said, I'm actually not necessarily the most skilled. I play bass, I play acoustic guitar, I play piano, sometimes I sing. I'm not necessarily great at all of them, but I love doing what I do. I'm actually a worship pianist and bassist for the most part, so I know you're going to see my playing, and I'm sure some of you saw my playing right now, and classical pianists especially are going to be judging my techniques and all that. I'm not much with, I don't know much about music theory. I learned basically everything myself. I've had a few mentors here and there, but for the most part I learned by myself. And like I said, I play worship music, and that doesn't involve really reading sheet music, at least not in my church. So basically what I did is I actually learned chords, and I've just kind of applied that. And yeah, that's where I stand. I consider myself like an intermediate player, but you know, that's kind of a vague term. So here I have the Roland FP-30, and this is a special instrument for me because it was the first informed decision I made in terms of buying musical gear, unless you count bass strings, which I don't really. Essentially what happened is, for the longest time, my family's had this old Yamaha synthesizer. It was nothing special. I think it was actually built for beginners. And it was fine. It was made around the 90s, I want to say. That's what I think, anyways. It was a decent keyboard, especially for like little kids that just really don't know jack about playing piano. And that's what I learned on. And for 17 and a half years, that's what I messed around with. It wasn't until I was 14 or 15 that I started actually trying to learn piano. But anyways, that's not the point. That was the previous piano for basically all my life. At my church, we have a Yamaha MOX-8, I want to say, synthesizer, and that's what I play on over there. But other than that, I really, before buying this, I didn't have much experience in terms of playing digital pianos. I'm pretty sure I've played maybe a Roland RD800 in the past, but I can't say for sure. But anyways, my synthesizer, my Yamaha, broke, and I decided it's about time I get myself a real piano anyways, because I was playing piano at church more prominently. And, you know, I hit up my friend who, he plays piano a bit. He's a little better than me. He totally recommended the Roland FP-30, and to be honest, if it wasn't for his recommendation, I would not have gotten this. Obviously, there were other factors, but yes, this is the instrument I got. So, as you can see, this piano is actually really beautiful. It's not made of anything special. I'm pretty sure this is plastic, but honestly, it really looks nice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of the black color, which is why I bought white. The white just looks amazing. I don't know if you can see it from there. Sorry, I don't have a multi-camera setup. But there's also some red over here, and it just really stands out. I love this color. It's just such a pretty instrument. So, in my opinion, this piano is targeted for beginners. I'll just say that. It might not look like it when you see the price, but I'll get to that later. I think this piano was made for people that are just starting to get into pianos, such as myself. Other than the looks, the two most important things in my opinion are the way it sounds and the way it feels. So you heard earlier, that was the main piano 1 sound. And in my opinion, it sounds really nice. I believe it's the Supernatural engine or whatever Roland advertises. I'm not an expert on these things, but honestly, I just really like it. Again, I'm not a classical pianist, so that sounds a little off. But anyways, I'm plugged actually into a mixer, which is plugged into a monitor, so the sound might be a little different from what you'd hear from the speakers, but it sounds pretty close to me. Anyways, I digress. I really like this sound. The Supernatural engine is lovely. I'm not an expert on piano sounds. I've definitely heard better, but I am a fan of this. And I'm not going to go too much deeper into sound. In terms of the main piano sound, I like this sound. And the feel, I can't describe the feel. I don't. It's a tactile thing. You'll have to experience it for yourself. But in my opinion, compared to its competition, I went to Guitar Center before buying this, and the feel was actually what really sold me. Other than the fact that my friend told me about this instrument, I compared this instrument with, I believe, the Casio Privia 3000. I think that's what it's called, and then the Yamaha P125. Both of which felt fine. I wasn't too keen on the Casio, but it was acceptable to me. This just feels amazing. I've only actually played one grand piano my entire life, and it wasn't like a Steinway or anything like that. But this feels very close to that. And I'm not going to say it's like a cheap grand piano, because let's be real, grand pianos aren't cheap. But I mean, it wasn't like a name brand. Let's just leave it at that. But anyways, compared to that, I thought it felt just as good. Maybe not nearly, but around the same area. I really do like the action. It is scaled action, I think that's the word. Again, I'm not an expert on these things, but the key here feels heavier than the key here if I push down slowly. And if I push down slowly here, like I'm trying to put the same amount of force, but you can see it took me a little slower to go completely down here. So yes, it's very similar to a real grand piano in that sense. Nothing here feels cheap. I'm pretty sure there's plastic in the top, tries to look like or feel like ivory, but it's plastic. And yeah, I will say there's one thing about the key bed itself. I'm not sure it was just because sometimes I do get rather passionate, we'll say that, when I play, and I hit the keys pretty hard. Around this register, there's a note here that every now and then makes a crackle noise, and that worries me. But thankfully, Roland has a warranty. So if that breaks, I can always send it to them, but at the same time, I don't want that to happen. But otherwise, keys feel great. So I mentioned the piano sound is very nice, the piano 1 sound. I'm gonna be honest, this is like one of 5 sounds that I like out of the 30-something sounds in this thing. I'm not gonna go through every single sound, but I'll go through the main ones. So you already heard this piano 1, I'll go through it again. Piano 1, excuse me. I like that, you know that. You switch sounds by actually holding down a button and pressing a key. I'll get to that later, more in detail. But this is piano 2. It feels so drowned out compared to piano 1, and I'm not a fan. That's piano 1. Here's piano 2. I don't see the appeal. It doesn't work for me. Piano 3. It sounds a little brighter, but also sounds empty. So here's piano 3 again. Piano 1. Piano 3 again. Piano 1. So those are the 3 grand piano sounds. 2 and 3 I don't like. Piano 1 sounds awesome. I'll leave it at that. The other 2 not so much. What sound is this? Is honky tonk, I think is what they call it. Yeah, it's fine. This is a harpsichord. I don't like harpsichord sounds. I'm not even gonna bother because I can't play harpsichord. Next we have the E piano section, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's really bad. E pianos on here, the Rhodes and Wurlitzer, their samples of it just aren't good. My issue, especially with I don't know which one this is. this first E piano it's inconsistent. I'm so sorry. In that it's almost like the sound font changes as you move around the keyboard. I watched another review by, I forgot the YouTube channel name, but the guy's name is James Pavel Shawcross. Great channel, check him out. He does piano reviews. I'll try to leave it in the description. He mentioned something that I didn't really notice, or I noticed, but I didn't really put much thought into it until he said it. And he said that the sound just changes as you travel throughout the keyboard. Here it sounds more. Yeah, I'm going to try to turn this up all the way so you can hear it. So I don't know if my phone camera can pick this up, but notice how clicky this high E sounds? And the D before it. And then if I play the next note above, which is F, again, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's no snappiness to it, and it sounds drowned out compared to this E. I might be tripping there. Yeah. Oh, that is I'm sorry. I'm not organized right now. But in piano 1, there's something that actually really annoys me. I don't know if this is what it's like in real grand pianos. But similarly to what I just mentioned, the sound kind of changes around some of these notes. I think it's here. Yeah, so I'm not stepping on sustain right now. I'm playing this F. You know, it decays quickly and dies down, at the rate you'd expect it to. But then I play the G, and it sustains. And it's not the most bothersome thing, but it can take me out of the mood when I'm playing sometimes. Anyways, I thought I'd mention that. But E piano 1, bad. I just mentioned how it changes sounds a bunch of times. I think it does it a total of 3 or 4 times. Inconsistent. It's garbage. Other electric piano. It's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Sorry, I don't know if that was a lot louder than the others because I forgot I adjusted the volume. This one's, electric piano 2 is fine. This one, I'll be honest, just in general, this sound, like, no matter what keyboard, it's not my favorite. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's just not my thing. Even on this keyboard, I'm not impressed. Yeah, I don't really use that sound much, so I can't judge it. I like this. This vibraphone? I don't know what this is. Yeah, electric piano section, not that great. And then there's the other section, pretty mixed bag if you ask me. It'll default to strings, I believe, strings 1. They're fine. There's more strings. Oh no, that's strings and choir. I don't like that. Here's the sound again. This, I don't know what this is. It sounds very nice. I wouldn't ever use it by itself, but I really like that. And there's something similar over here, I believe. I'll explain those a little more later. Those sounds I'm generally okay with. It's the organs specifically that I have a problem with. So here's the thing. When you're buying a digital piano that's meant really like this, that's really just meant for the piano sound, don't ever expect a good organ. And that is true here. I love the sounds of organs, and it makes me mad when instruments include them but don't let you customize them. Like, sounds terrible. I forgot it's also considerably louder than every other sound. I'm so sorry, that scared me. It's midnight, give me a break. I'd push it down all the way and it's still super loud. That's better. I'll be honest, I don't know how to play organ, but just the sound is not quality. I don't like it. Compared to like any decent organ sound. And I know decent organ sounds are expensive. I always the instruments they come on are expensive, but why bother including it if it's not going to sound great? There's another organ. Yeah, it's trash. I'm sorry if I'm not going into as much detail as you want me to, but just take my word for it. It doesn't sound that good. This is a reed organ. Actually, this one sounds all right. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Compared to other reed organs I've heard on other keyboards, though, that's fairly acceptable. I might be wrong on that, but to me, that sounds fine. Church organ, yeah, I feel like it could use a little more reverb. Like, it dies quickly. That's just me. I don't know what that is, doesn't sound good. I like this sound. Apparently this is standard for Rolands to include. I might be wrong on that. I like it. I can't ever see myself using it, but that's it. But yeah, that's in the other section, the other sound section, I mean. Not impressed. So now I'm going to actually talk about, there are some functions here that you can't see. But as I mentioned earlier, you can see that there are very little buttons here. And the way to change sounds is you hold, this button says piano, you hold it down and you click one of these keys. Next to the key there's a little tiny number. So piano, and then you click key that says 1. Yeah, piano 1, you play piano 2, piano 3, so you guys saw me do this. You can also, there are a few more settings. There's a ambience setting, ambience, however you pronounce that. There's a function key here that you hold down and then you push these plus and minus signs. So this is without ambience. This is with ambience all the way up. You can kind of hear the difference. Now when you put it back to normal. Yeah, you can definitely hear the difference if I bring ambience all the way down. Yep. So that's kind of neat. And there's also brilliance. Let me put it all the way up. Let me bring it back down to normal. Bring it back up again. Normal. Little to no brilliance. Back to normal. Back down. So yeah, those are neat things to mess with. It's not the most customizable, but it's there. You can also, I rarely ever use this, so I actually almost forgot about it. There's the key touch, which essentially just makes it less or more sensitive. I haven't messed with this in a very long time, so give me a second. So this is normal. This is the way it's programmed to be when you boot it up. If I increase the key touch, so that makes it less sensitive, I believe. Yeah, because I'm hitting it with the same amount of pressure if I bring it back to normal. And if I bring it all the way down. Whoa, that actually scared me for a second. Yep. So that's there. There's tuning actually, very nice. Again, I also don't really mess with this. If I bring the tuning all the way up, no sound sharp, bring it back down. It's very minor, so most people won't even notice it. To be honest, for a second, I didn't notice it either, but it's there. And there's a button for USB song play. I've never touched that feature before, so I don't care. There's a twin piano feature, which I assume is for teachers and students. Basically what it does is splits the keyboard in half so that it's almost like two separate pianos with just shorter keyboards. So that's without it off. Turn on the twin piano section and Oh, that's weird. Why isn't it? The heck? Oh, maybe. Okay, whatever. And then lastly, I forgot to mention there is transpose. I saved this one for last because it is my least favorite part. You cannot transpose a full octave, which is rather bothersome for a stage pianist like me. I'm just going to say right now, this isn't really built for stage, but if you ever want to use it for stage, and you like changing octaves, you're out of luck. It goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes down 7 half steps, and it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 half steps up. So really, it doesn't give you that much range. I'll go ahead and showcase it to you anyways. So here's C. Wait a second. The heck happened? That's weird. I'm sorry. So here's C. And then I transpose it to whatever. And wow, that's not C anymore. You know how transposing works. Yeah, so that's really all the features. There is a metronome. This metronome makes me really angry. I'll leave it at that. So you press it, and it gives you a beat. And to me, this is useless because there's no screen or indicator to tell you what BPM this is at. I suppose. Let me stop. This is driving me crazy. I suppose if you read the manual, it'll tell you what it is, but like. You really think I'm going to memorize it? And even if I do, you really think I'm going to count every plus beat or minus beat that's there? Like, let's pretend this is 120. I don't know. And then, like, how am I supposed to know what that is? And okay, fine. Obviously, you're not supposed to use a reckless beat, but I just don't see a point if you're not going to tell the player, like, on the spot what that is. And so that is my biggest complaint of this instrument. Is that the user interface just isn't great. It's not that good. Minimalist buttons might sound good for some people, but in the end, it just ruins efficiency and productivity. Again, I mentioned this isn't really meant to be played on stage, and it shows. But if you wanted to use this for the stage, I hope you only plan on using one sound or one setting, because it's going to be a pain to edit. I also wish the volume was a wheel and not buttons. Not a wheel. Wheel to knob? Yeah, knob. My bad. Because you can hold down the button and there's a little light indicator to tell you the volume. But I just feel like it'd be nicer to have the knob. What else am I missing? The outputs are very limited. This is my next complaint for this instrument. You have your power. You have your pedal that comes with the instrument. USB, you can use this for MIDI. You can also actually transfer audio files and play it through the piano speakers. I'll get to the speakers later. And over here, you can't see it. There is a port for headphone jack and a port for guitar cables. I forgot, 1/4-inch cables. And again, you'll realize that this isn't for stage because it doesn't have XLR cables, which that's just what we use at church. And it doesn't have stereo outputs either for the 1/4-inch cables. So it is very much meant for at-home use. Excuse me. So in terms of outputs, it's really weak. If you buy this instrument, be prepared to only ever use it at home. The piano actually does come with a music stand. What I don't understand, pun totally not intended, is it's curved. It's curved. I don't know why, and it makes me upset. Furthermore, there's no little bevel over here. I'm not sure if that's the right word. There's nothing here to stop music from slipping off. It actually came with these sticky rubber plastic. I'm not a material scientist. It comes with these sticky things you can put to actually provide resistance. So that's helpful, but I'd much rather they just, use a little bit more plastic and curve it up a bit so sheet music or whatever you're looking at doesn't fly off as easily. Yeah, I've rarely ever used this, but, speak to any worship pianist, and if they use a stand, they're weak. Other features I'm missing. I did mention it comes with built-in speakers. So I'm plugged into a monitor right now. This is what it sounds like. This is through the piano's built-in speakers. They're actually fairly powerful once you bring them all the way up. Yeah, the speakers are fine. And of course, you can always plug in earphones. Sorry about that. If it gets too loud for your parents who are sleeping. But yes, one more thing, very important feature that I forgot to mention. You can layer sounds, and it's pretty good. So you heard the strings earlier. Piano strings is a very popular combo, and you can do that just by pressing the piano and other sound. I'm not a piano strings guy myself, but it's nice. I prefer adding layering the choir noises with the piano. It sounds a lot nicer, especially for a worship atmosphere, in my opinion. I don't really know what I'm playing, but you guys can hear that. Yeah, I like the layer option. I haven't tried it with the stranger sounds, like an E piano with the doot doot. Yeah, I don't recommend it. Anyways, that's that. And lastly, I suppose I'll give my closing thoughts. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really like this instrument, but I do not recommend it for anybody. Here's why. It's very expensive for what it offers. Whether you're a beginner or maybe an intermediate player, stay away from this thing. This Roland logo is deadly. It immediately adds another $300 to the price. I'm gonna be real with you. It's the feel, the action is very nice, and the piano one sound is also very nice. That's really the only driving things that should make this above $400. Everything else it comes with, though, it's not that impressive, and that makes me sad. $700 for this, and let me remind you that there are cheaper options, and I'm actually looking at them on retrospect, and I kind of wish that I bought those, to be honest. I believe the Yamaha P125 I mentioned, I'm kind of wishing that I bought that last August when I bought this. $700 for this thing. My family, we are not poor. We're very blessed, but we're not necessarily rich either. Buying an instrument like this, it was a big decision for my parents to make. And about 1 year later, we're still paying this thing off because of Sweetwater 0% interest or whatever. I'm sorry. I'm not being sponsored. I can be honest here. I don't recommend this instrument. If you have it, like me, I'm not saying I dislike the piano. I really do like playing it. It's just it doesn't give you enough bang for the buck. They're $700. Goodness gracious. It doesn't have a lot of sounds, and the sounds it does have aren't that good. The UI is pretty bad. There are no good output options. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I wish I did more research when I bought this. Anything else that I want to say? No, I believe that's it. So I guess I'll just play something really quick and we'll end the video there. So here's my verdict. I love the piano because I made my parents pay $700 for it. But I don't recommend anyone buy this thing. Find a better option. I guarantee you, you won't regret skipping out on this. Have a good one. God bless y'all.